As creative educators, we're always thinking of ways to engage our students. At least I know that I cannot stop all those ideas from swirling around in my mind. I'm Tatiana Rodriguez. Welcome back to this channel where I love helping adjunct professors create dynamic classes that students love and remember. Today I want to share with you my favorite ways to kick off the semester using active learning strategies. In a previous video, I shared with you what active learning strategies are, and it's helpful to compare them to passive learning. Hands off, not really any skin in the game. Students are more listeners. However, I really like for my students to have a more in it to win it kind of attitude where they're actively participating. Plus, it helps them learn more and they enjoy themselves more.
Yes! Oh my God!
And to be honest, I enjoy myself so much more when there's interactivity in the classroom, which is why I love active learning strategies. So here's my favorite way to do this. 2 parts, syllabus quiz game plus crumple and shoot. We all know students, for the most part, do not read the syllabus. Can't blame them, to be honest. It's kind of like reading legal contracts for fun. No shade to my lawyer students and lawyer friends. So I like to gamify that activity. And if it's virtual class, I'll use a tool like Kahoot, K-A-H-O-O-T exclamation mark if you're not familiar with it. Or I will use my Apple Keynote to create a slide deck with questions, and you may use PowerPoint or Prezi or Genially or Canva, whatever you like to create your slide decks in. That's part 1, is creating the slide deck with questions. In my case, I'll use about 14 questions. I will divide the students into teams of 5 approximately. I have them take a sheet of paper, divide it into 14. It gets them physically doing something. I like to get them involved doing it. It makes a little less prep work for me. You just have to build in the time factor as you think about these things. So that's part 1, divide into teams of 5, get enough sheets of paper going so that they can answer each question. And the way it will work is I'm going to ask them the questions, and if they get the question correctly, they're going to crumple up their sheet of paper. But if they don't get it correct, then their answer just stays flat. Then at the end, they will have a bunch of correct answers and a bunch of incorrect answers. So I'm going to reveal what we do with these in just a second, but let me show you how this looks like when I'm using the slide decks. So I will, on my screen, project the slides, and I will ask a question. For example, what percentage of your grade is assigned to speeches? I'll have all the teams write their answers. I give them 10 seconds, and then boom, questions are answered, and then we'll go around the room, and then I will reveal the correct answer. In my case, it's 52.78%. People get the right answer. Next question, altogether, the 3 outlines are worth what percentage of your grade? 8.3. And then I take advantage of this moment that I've got them going, engaged in a game. At this point, I've already asked them 6 questions. I'll start to break down the components. I've created a little pie chart for visual interest with different colors, and I'll go over all of these different things with them to help them be more interested. So I'm still going over the content just in a way that's more engaging rather than boring. Now, at the end of all of the questions, students are left with a certain number of correct answers and incorrect answers. So I will have them take their correct answers crumpled up, and they now have to shoot them. This is the crumple and shoot part. We did the syllabus quiz game already. Now it's crumple and shoot part. And I want to say that I learned crumple and shoot from Jennifer Gonzalez over at Cult of Pedagogy, but that may not be correct. Anyway, I learned about crumple and shoot, and I was like, this is perfect. Get them physical, up out of their seats, because they would have been sitting now for a while. They're going to take all their things and shoot them into a container. So I'll have a bigger container, which is worth 1 point, a medium container, which is worth 2 points, and a tiny container, which is worth 3 points. They get to choose which one they throw it into, and they can either designate one student to be the shooter into the baskets, or they can each take turns depending on how many answers they have. Most of the time people take turns, and it's just really fun to see students shooting. And again, for me, for my class, for my style of courses, which is interactive, and I teach things like public speaking and leadership, I love getting them up out of their seats. I realize some of these things may not fully apply for very, very large classes, but I do think there's a way to do it by dividing people into teams. It generally is a ton of fun. The team gets points. Whichever team at the end has the most points does win a prize. Yes, I do bring prizes to class. Everybody loves prizes. It can be a small prize like a Hershey Kiss. Doesn't have to be a big thing. I bring, those $1 or $1.50 type of candy boxes, and one for each person on the team, which is about 5 people. So it cost me about $5 or so to bring in the prizes for this class. And that's how I love to kick off a semester, in an interactive way. They get all excited when their team gets a correct answer, or they shout out the MVP. If one person knows the answer and the other don't on the team, let me know if you decide to try it, if you modify it, if you have a different game or a different way that you love to kick off your semester in the beginning. So that's just one of the many active learning strategies that I use in the beginning on the first day of class. So looking forward to your comments and your insights. In the meantime, keep learning, inspiring, and teaching with love.